let's talk about these Raiders.
I feel like it is a little bit of a stitch-up doing the Raiders when I'm on.
Yeah, it probably is. Probably is, tourist. With his...
Maybe there was a reason we picked the Raiders today.
Don't say we. I didn't know we're doing the Raiders.
It's a team, me and Mitch. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. Our Canberra Raiders 2025 season review. Thanks to Hyundai. There's surprisingly big offers at your participating Hyundai dealer today. Canberra Raiders season review. Finished the year despite some people having the audacity to select that they could possibly get a spoon. Well, they were the complete opposite end, folks. They were first in the competition and got the JJ Giltinan Shield, announced as the minor premiers with 19 wins and just 5 losses throughout the regular season. However, knocked out in straight sets after heartbreaking loss to the Broncos. You think about the sliding doors of that game where they had essentially lost the game, won the game three times, and then it didn't happen. It didn't happen, MC.
No, what a year for the Canberra Raiders. Obviously, didn't end the way they would have liked it, but a fantastic season. They unearthed some talent. What about their ability, their pace, and their ability to ignite things out of nothing? Kyle Weeks at fullback was a revelation. Tamale at the start of the year was unstoppable on the wing, and then Ethan Strange was just so good, right? Just a freak. And then you look at their forward pack, and Tarpany was, his usual self. Josh Papali had a bit of a resurgence, I think, this year, right? Like, he probably dipped a little bit last year, but this year was outstanding. Hudson Young, one of the best back rowers in the competition. So, all in all, it was a fantastic season. If you sat down at the start of the year and said they'd finish minor premiers, obviously you're taking that every day of the week. If you're the Raiders, would be disappointed. And we saw the hurt still in Ricky Stewart's voice at the Daily M's when he won Coach of the Year. The fact that, it will go down as a wasted opportunity just because of how they how they finished the year, right? But you can't sit here and be critical of their season.
But you've got to go into an off-season. And this is the funny thing, right? And going back to the Madge comment, success leaves weak knees at times. So everyone's back to zero. They were that close to getting their own prelim final.
Yeah.
They were that close. And that would have
won
had
it 3 times.
Brisbane go the long way. And as it turns out, it was that form line that won the comp. So, and no Ethan Strange.
Yeah.
That next week. They do lose Jamal Fogarty. If you go to the highlights of the year, 50-12 win over Parramatta in Darwin. Round 9, that massive win over the Storm at Magic Round. And the best one of the year was that magic, or as Vossi coined it, the miracle of Mudgee. That was a very, very special game. And that was when people went, this team is legit. The lowlights, I suppose, round 27, 60-24. They rested a lot of players, though. Lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Crazy game against the Broncos in the first week of the finals, naturally, and then they lost to the Sharks convincingly, which broke their hearts in that week 2 of the finals at home, and they were the first team pretty much gone. As far as the losses, Jamal Fogarty to Manly, Trey Mooney and Pasami Saulo both to the Knights. Albert Hopewadi heads to the Super League with Warrington. They pick up Jaden Brayley. Now, we said this year, the Broncos had too many number 9s, and as it turns out, they needed all of them. Sione for now, they pick him up from the Dragons, and rumours around Dane Laurie. What do you know about that?
I think Dane Laurie will get done at Canberra.
Do you?
Yeah, I think that's the way it's headed, as a depth piece.
Yes.
Just a depth piece.
But he's going from a depth piece to a depth piece.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Well, which is surprising. Like, I think he's the perfect depth piece.
maybe the Raiders are giving him more depth in the pocket piece. I don't know. Is that otherwise? Why would you leave?
Who's a better depth piece? Brad Schneider, Dane Laurie.
Oh, well, Schneider's a half.
Well, Sean O'Sullivan's gone to the Dogs.
Yeah.
Who's the new depth piece at Penrith?
Jack Cogger's gone.
Oh, Jack Cogger's gone back.
Yeah, he's the best of all.
On the show tomorrow.
In terms of depth pieces, but no, Dane Laurie's a really good, player to play maximum half a dozen games for you.
Right. Okay.
I think he's a great squad player.
Oh, he certainly is. It's just.
But he's not starting for Canberra.
No, but it's interesting, and this is how Ricky Stewart coaches, right? So, zero hint of nepotism, and the players almost begged for him to choose Jed. And now you've got Sione Finau. That'll be competition for Jed. You've got, obviously, Xavier Savage comes back.
Yeah, and Tamale obviously had that large chunk of the season out.
Yep, and now you're also talking about Dane Laurie.
The question mark's got to be around Matt Timoko. I thought defensively that edge was terrible at times.
Of course it was.
You know, and he's going to play for the Kiwis this weekend. But that's if you look and you sit down and you pick apart their season, well, they just never, particularly late in the year, got that right edge right.
No, I can't disagree with that.
That was a concern for him. But, the Jaden Brayley signing is interesting because I think at that time they weren't going to keep Tom Starling.
No.
He was asking for big money, Tom Starling, and then, really played well and earned himself a new contract. So you're not going to have 3 of those guys in your 17.
No, correct. Anyway, we'll see how that plays out. And, of course, Nick Nack Paddywhack, he had a terrific year and he just looks a first grader for the next 10 years. Owen Paddy, Zach Hosking and Tamale, who you mentioned, they've signed until the end of 2028. KO Weeks signed to the end of 2029.
Pretty stable roster there at the Raiders.
Yeah.
You sit down and break it all down. And obviously with expansion sides coming, I think they've got 2 November 1 guys, Ada Mariota and Matty Nicholson.
Gotcha.
Or Morgan Smithies. Morgan Smithies it is, sorry. Morgan Smithies.
And that's it?
That's it. They're the big names that they've got off contract from their 17. Josh Papali, obviously.
Yeah.
But, in terms of guys that aren't locked in, who will be there long term, they've only got... So while other clubs are worried about the Bears and expansion size, well, they don't have that concern.
Okay. Fascinating where people are going to be picking them next year. Because they're... Well, and Jonah Pezet, could he join them? That feels like the piece they got to nail, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the biggest one. With Jamal gone, does Ethan Sanders get a crack? That's what they bought him there for originally, to be the long-term half, but they probably feel like he's a little bit away from being that, and they flirted with a few experienced half. I think Sean O'Sullivan was probably on their radar. Lockie Ilias is another one that had been spoken about around Canberra. That's the biggest question mark. Well, there's 2 question marks heading into... let's say 3 question marks.
Okay.
One is the hookers, right? Well, how do they work it out?
Yep.
Okay, because that 1-2 punch was outstanding between Starling and Paddy. Do you touch it? Does Jaden Brayley end up in reserve grade, having signed him as your number 1 hooker for next season?
So for context, he's not going there to be the Chad Townsend role of the Roosters, is he?
Or Dane Laurie. No. He was signed as the starting hooker.
And he would be paid accordingly?
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, he was signed because North Queensland wanted him.
How does it play out then? Like,
I don't know. That's the question. Right, the right edge defensively is a question, and the halfbacks are naturally a question. So these are some of the question marks around the Raiders heading into next year.
Could any team use a hooker?
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about that.
Owen Paddy.
Well, but I don't.
I know.
But
I'm just thinking of the youngest player.
You end up moving Jaden half and just signed him. But they carried 3 hookers this year, right? And Danny Levi.
What's he doing, Levi? Super League?
Super League, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but they carry that. They're not adverse to carrying 3 first-grade hookers in their top 30. Most clubs don't do it. As you said, the Broncos did it, but most clubs don't do it. They have 2 and then 1 that can play multiple positions. Starling, Paddy, and Brayley can only play hooker. I know, Starling's played a little bit of 13, but he's...
No, but all 3, if you look at it this way, all 3 on their day could have been the Broncos starting Broncos starting hooker in the grand final, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So they can be premiership players, all 3.
No, I'm not. Yeah, but no, this is not a crack at any of them. But they only play dummy half as well.
Yeah,
it's very rare where you have 3 out and out number 9s in your top 30. You have 2 and someone that can cover 9 and covers other positions.
Yes,
but these guys are 3 out and out dummy halves. So how they work that, that's why it's a question mark heading into next year.
Would that affect a possible Pezet signing? Like, would they have to maybe let one go to pick up someone like a Pezet?
Look, you just re-signed Starling. You just signed Brayley.
Yeah.
You're not letting Paddy go. What are you doing?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think they've got the scope for Pezet.
Okay.
To get him without having to move anyone.
Right. Okay. But as we know, folks, we mentioned this with the Broncos, this conundrum last year. You know, how would they cope with Pakes and Smoothie and Walters and Ben Hunt?
Play 9,
so and they certainly needed them all. So maybe that's the big thinking of a squad that Ricky Stewart and the team have. It may just mean that one of them may have to play some reserve grade tourist.
Can I put out a pure rumor based on absolutely nothing. Complete fabrication.
I thought that was my job. No, sorry.
The Melbourne Storm are losing Bronson Garlick as their backup hooker.
Yep.
Yes.
So the Melbourne Storm are probably going to need a 9 to be backup for them. Could they be one of the teams looking for a loan of a hooker, and could that be potentially Brayley?
But the problem is that somebody would probably want to take a Wishart or a Pezet, and
Well,
you could
if
build a
Pezet-
case
if
that
They do a
Wishart.
swap,
If it's
yeah.
a Pezet
Yeah.
deal there, where they for a 1 year deal, 1 year swap deal,
There you
Not the
go.
worst idea.
Pezet, Brayley.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad idea either. The 1 year swap deal.
Yeah, it's
That-
just a pure loan for both teams.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
Momorowski, Harry Grant style.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, folks. Momorowski, did he play in that grand final?
He played for Penrith in a grand final.
Yeah, but did he go to
Melbourne.
for the
Yeah,
swap?
but I don't think he played in that grand. I don't think he's won one comp at Penrith.
Penrith. Yep. You reckon because he might have missed at the Roosters?
Yeah, he played. Remember, he got caught in late in a prelim or a semi-final.
Yeah, and then
of the
Latrell came. No,
Roosters.
before the Raiders game. Then Latrell came back for the final,
Yes.
didn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, I think he definitely won a comp at Penrith.
Penrith. Okay. 1300 is the way to have your say. Ethan Strange, can he back it up? Another big year. The bones are there. Where are they going to be placed? I might just get a market, actually, to tell you where they are based in the market order. What's your best guess there, MC?
Like to win the comp.
Yeah, to win the comp, where do you think they are in the market order? Thanks to Sportsbet.
Fifth.
What are you really gambling with for free and confident support?
Fifth.
Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Storm, Broncos, Roosters,
Panthers.
Panthers. Will be the top 4, you
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
So maybe Raiders, maybe Sharks or Raiders is 5th or 6th.
Okay, here we go.
There we go.
Broncos and Storm equal first. Panthers third, Roosters fourth, Dogs fifth, Raiders
There you
sixth.
go. That was close.
Would you rather have a ticket on the Raiders or the Dogs?
Raiders.
Raiders, okay. That may change if they were to sign. And then you got the Sharks and the Dolphins. They're the expected eight.
Dolphins. I'm in on the Dolphins.
Well, they're the expected eight, and those who are not, they've got the Warriors, the market this is, missing. They've got the Cowboys missing, Parramatta missing, Rabbitohs, Manly, Tigers, Gold Coast, Dragons, Knights.
Good luck tipping a wooden spoon.
Yeah, good luck tipping that. All right, folks, that's the Raiders wrap-up. What do you think? Did we hit that on the mark? Are you bullish about their thoughts? Do they go up? Do they regress? How does that play out?